Well,
Yeah.
this is my last day as chief, but yes.
How does it, I guess, did you feel any different waking up this morning from maybe last week or last year?
Maybe a little bit, but I knew it was coming, and working with the city manager, we've been talking about it for months, and we finally set this date. So it's uh, it's time, and can't say that I'm glad that it's here, but it's time, and it's time to move on. A new chief has been selected, and uh, he'll start next Monday.
I guess what's next?
Right now, I have no plans. I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I've had some phone calls, but really no plans to do anything.
Are you a person who's good with no plans, or are you going to be itching to get back to doing something?
Oh, I think eventually there's a lot of things around the house that I'll have to do, and I look forward to that. I look forward to this summer spending time with family. This job has taken away from family time somewhat. Being able to take my son fishing and golfing and just hanging out with him, that'll be big. My daughter's off to college this year, so spending a last summer with her, that'll be good. Of course, my wife. Yeah.
You're actually going to be able to help with moving. You won't have to work.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you looking forward to that?
I am. Yes.
Looking back over all these years, is there one moment that sticks out to you that you think is going to be a core memory? If someone were to say, what is the crystallizing thing as your time as chief, what would that be?
I wouldn't put one specific thing, but it's the relationships I built over the years internally within the police department. I was thinking I probably worked with well over 1,000 people over that time. So building those relationships, but also out in the community. I've have relationships that I've had for 30 years, and they continue on to this day, and hopefully will continue. So having relationships that I build within the department and outside the department will probably be something that um, I always thought was important, but I think they'll continue.
What do you think you've accomplished in your time as chief?
Well, as my time as chief, I came into being a chief, and there was a few months we started to deal with the pandemic, COVID. Getting through that, and we're still dealing with it, obviously, but the not knowing what that COVID actually was and how it was going to affect us, I mean, that was some trying times. We all worked together. Um, and my hopes in becoming chief was that we would be able to get out in the community more, spend time with. Well, obviously, with COVID, we weren't able to do that. We also experienced in 2020 one of the highest homicide rates the city has ever seen in the gun violence. We're in a better place today than what we were then, and it's large part due to the work that's being done out there by the men and women of the police department, keeping them motivated through this pandemic, and not to mention the social issues that we dealt with the riots and different things, and getting through that and maintaining this department and actually adding personnel on this department. I think that was a big accomplishment during the trying times that we were experiencing and all the challenges we had.
Being the first black chief, do you think that you've helped GRPD grow in its social awareness, in the way that it looks at and deals with race, or do you think that your race doesn't impact your role as chief?
Well, I think it had some impact. Bottom line, no, I'm chief of police. When the city manager appointed me, one of the things I said, I've been at that time a police officer for 32 years. I've been a black man for over 50 years, so I know something about both of them. And my hope was to bridge that gap between communities of law enforcement and any minority community, and being able to work with them. Again, the pandemic, the COVID, I think that held us up somewhat in doing those things. But yeah, I think it had an impact.
Obviously, the pandemic offered a myriad of challenges. That notwithstanding, do you have any regrets in your time, not just as chief, but over the 30+ plus years you've been a part of the department?
Well, I think you always look back and reflect, and there are certainly always things you wish you could have done differently. Regrets, it's kind of hard to say that. One specific thing. As chief, you're going to try and make best decisions as possible. But I did that as a patrol officer. You try to make the best decision that's going to serve this community in a positive way and have good positive outcomes. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes we have to work on and evolve from decisions that we make and make sure we don't make the same mistakes twice. So I think over time, like I said, as chief, but even as a patrol officer, you have to make sure you're reflecting on what you're doing, make sure you're doing it in the best interest of the community.
I'm sure you've gotten a ton of questions about your impact on the department, both as chief and as an officer. How has being chief and serving here in Grand Rapids impacted you as Eric Payne?
It's been challenging, but it's also been an honor to do it. Very proud of that, becoming chief. The biggest thing, Eric Payne is my family. It's been difficult on him. It was tough, and that affected me a lot with my family. So, but I'm proud of the time I spent as chief, and hopefully I made a difference out there.
Yeah. Doug, you got any questions?
What do you hope the community has taken away from your time as chief, if out of your past few years here?
That I was willing to listen, that I was fair, and I look at not so much that you hear so much about reform. I think a police department should, or law enforcement in general, should look to evolve. What are the things that we're doing now that we should try to do differently in the future? Do we have bad outcomes? How can we do things differently to have better outcomes? I'd like to think that we did that during my time as chief, and I think law enforcement will continue to evolve as I mentioned earlier, as you continue to self-reflect on decisions that are made and how things are being done, and hoping to have better outcomes.
And then tell me about the person who's going to be sitting in that chair next.
Yeah, I've had some conversation with the next chief. I'm confident that City Manager Mark Washington went through an extensive vetting process. I'm excited for the next chief. They will inherit what I believe is the best police department in the state, if not the Midwest. With that said, I'm excited that a fresh view will come in here and take a look at some of the things that are being done and hopefully improve on some of those things, but also carry on some of the great things that are already being done. So I'm excited, look forward. I think we're in a better place now than, say, a year and a half ago. And so I'm okay with handing over the department and moving on, and for it to continue to serve the community.
What's the trick to catching the most fish when you go out?
Oh, patience. Patience, yes.
Yeah. I mean, are we going to have time for one more, or do we have to wrap up?
If it's a quick one.
Yeah, I think that you mentioned family and wanting to spend more time with them. It's also, this is a community you've served forever. How excited are you to be able to just go places as a person in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the community. I mean, like I said, I have my son who's already told me where he's going to high school at, so I'm going to be in the community. We have a little joke amongst ourselves. I get recognized, and I'm okay with that. People have been great. I think, but it will be nice that it's a huge responsibility being chief. You're a chief 24 hours a day, whether you're working on vacation or away from the office. It'll be nice just to be able to go as Eric Payne, and if people recognize me and want to say hello, that's fine too. Yeah.
Wonderful. Anything else you want to add?
No, thanks.
Thank you.